The mainstream media's favorite topic of college basketball and anything related to basketball at the moment, the Ball family. They got a little show on ESPN. You see that? They have like a little feature from SportsCenter. They look like they're a fun family, I gotta say. Like they play 2K and then they play basketball. And they play basketball outside and they play 2K. It seems like the greatest life ever. There's a lot of Ball news though. First of all, the title of the clip, which is titled, "How Far Could Lonzo Ball Carry UCLA?" That team doesn't necessarily live and die by his abilities, but he is the Dwayne Wade to Marquette. He is the Melo to Syracuse. He is the motor to UCLA's high-powered offense. But before we get there, I have two things I got to tell you. One, LeVar Ball said he can beat Jordan one-on-one. So Le'Veon Bell looked up his stats in college. He averaged 2.2 points per game. I'm beginning to like LeVar Ball a little more. The more ridiculous he gets, the more attention he draws to himself, even though I know he's doing it for attention, the more I like him, right? And then two, I think a very understandable shoe deal in today's market. He wants, I think I have the quote right here, this is number 4, element number 4. $1 billion has to be there. That's our number, $1 billion straight out the gate for all 3 Ball brothers. You don't even have to give it to me all up front. Give us $100 million a year. This is the one issue though. You don't have to give it to me. No, LeVar, you don't get any of it technically. You didn't do anything to get it.
Technically, he would.
For LaMelo and LiAngelo.
If his younger sons who are still dependent on him.
The kids get it, man. But they look like a good family. I don't want to rip on the Balls too much. I don't want to I don't want to bust his balls too much. It's too easy. I don't want to bust LeVar's balls too much. All right, I'm done saying it, Francis. UCLA ranks very high in a lot of offensive efficiency, a lot of offensive power. Next graphic really quick. There we go. In terms of their bracket outlook, they have a tough second-round matchup when they make it there, hopefully, if they don't get upset against a team like Cincinnati. But offensive, look at the offense, man. Offensive efficiency, second in the league. 3-point percentage, second in the league. Turnover percentage, a very low 11th in the league, which is very good. Their D isn't good. They're going to win by offense. Francis, can Lonzo Ball Steph Curry his way to the college championship?
Anything can happen. If it was looking at NBA stats here and seeing a team that was 220th at defending 3-point shots, I would be like, okay,
the Knicks are 220th.
Let's be serious. They're like, all right, we only have a certain amount of teams in the league, but if they were to be ranked and amongst the world, they'd be 220th. So if I was to look at this as an NBA standpoint, I'd be like, nah, I think if you come up against Golden State Warriors, they're going to rain all over you with their 3-point shots. But this is college basketball. There's a lot more teams. And we have seen a high-powered offense lead a team to a point where not many people were predicted. I will reference the Buddy Hield reference again because that team, they were all right defensively. I watched them quite closely last year. But Buddy Hield, we know he's a high-powered scorer for that team, and he consistently would take them past the point of adversity where they would outscore teams relying on his shooting. Lonzo Ball does a very similar thing. I've watched several UCLA games this year because they're pretty close to our
backyard.
Yeah, very close to us. To me, where I live. And you, pretty close by, on the west side of LA.
You played with him? Have you balled up with him?
Never. Been to the UCLA campus.
Nice campus.
Been in the gym.
Nice gym.
Nice gym. Both. But, I mean, college basketball, you can never really write someone out, write someone off, especially when they have a superstar, NBA, destined player in their team. And because one thing about college basketball is momentum is a huge thing. You said momentum doesn't exist in baseball. Momentum is as powerful as a superstar player in college basketball. That's my opinion, because I've seen teams overcome 20, 30-point deficits simply because one of their players has just stepped out and went, give me the ball, I'm going to lead this comeback. Crowd gets behind it. The energy in that place is unmatched in any sport in the world, in my opinion. That's why I love March Madness.
Oh, it's so great.
And I think that Lonzo Ball has the crowd wrapped around his finger. That's where I think, because he knows how to hype them up. He knows how to get this team going. He knows what his responsibility is more than anything else. I don't want to give him too much credit because I know he's a fantastic player, but he's no Dwayne Wade, in my opinion, for what he was with Marquette. But he's a good player.
Dwayne Wade dropped a triple-double against Kentucky in the tournament. Still one of the greatest performances in college basketball history. I've never seen anything like it.
That's why I made that point. But in some of the games that I've watched,
what a tournament!
He knows his responsibility. It's not because what Buddy Hield would do is Buddy Hield was the be-all and end-all at times for that team. So they would look for him non-stop, and he would make those shots, and that was their lifeline. That was getting them into games.
Yes.
I don't feel like UCLA need to just rely on Lonzo Ball for that, but he's a good player to have.
I think they have a better overall team, especially offensively. Now, ESPN has called them possibly the greatest offensive team ever in tournament history.
That's headlines.
It's a big headline, and their offensive efficiency is up there. In terms of, they also have some very good wins. They beat Arizona, who's a very good team this year. They beat Kentucky. They beat Oregon, who Rhode Island will also beat. I can't wait. But it's not their backcourt in general. It's not just Lonzo Ball. Bryce Alford, who's their son of Steve Alford, is their coach. And as ESPN does put it, their bench player, Aaron Holiday, they have some depth at the backcourt. And again, the age-old cliche, guards get you to the Sweet 16, front court gets you to the championship, which is true to a certain extent when there was position basketball. Now that it's positionless and you have 7-footers playing point guard, nothing really means that anymore. The one player that I think is actually going to make an equal difference to Lonzo Ball, because he's going to get the game plan for anybody facing UCLA is we have to stop Lonzo Ball from making plays, because he can be very effective when he's not just shooting threes.
Yep.
He can be effective in just as Chris Broussard put it on The Herd recently, he said, just watching Lonzo Ball, he just makes the right pass. He just advances the ball. And this is something that happens for, like D'Angelo Russell did this really well when he was at Ohio State. Like, he can make a fancy pass and get the highlight reel pass, the LeBron wraparound pass, or what the best players tend to do is in a very quick motion, they don't over dribble. They get the ball, they see the point, they make their pass, they get to the next position to continue the play, and he really executes the offense as a top player in the country. There's a reason he's going to be the number 2, 3 pick in the draft this year. But the guy I'm focusing on too, TJ Leaf, is a strong power forward. He's like averaging 13 and 8 a game. How many offensive possessions can you keep alive? Because if you can get some form of offensive rebounding, you can't keep letting UCLA get 30 seconds on a shot clock. They're going to make you pay. If you can lock them down defensively, they can't stop you offensively. So you have to beware. That's like no one's afraid of UCLA if you're Kentucky and you have a Malik Monk, who they did beat, but you have a power scorer in that way, or the top tier offensive talents in the league. They have nothing to really fear against UCLA. It's teams like Kent State, I think they play in the first round, who are going, well, I think if we score 110 and they only score 105, we win.
It's like when you come up against the Warriors, you're like, all right, they're gonna
score a ton of points.
120, 150, whatever. You're just gonna have to try and outscore them, which is something that it's a tough task. But
excited.
I am excited for UCLA more than anything, because most college basketball games are fun, but UCLA are so fun to watch.
Good atmosphere.
So fun to watch.
Good fans.
Good vibes. I just
great people. Shout out Thomas Jones.
So yeah, I'm excited to watch them play. I would like to see a UCLA.
Have you made a pick yet?
I told you Kentucky. A boring pick, but it's always a good pick with Kentucky or Kansas.
Why not
But
Rhode Island?
I think this year, Kentucky are going to take it. But that doesn't mean that I think one of the teams, because they're close to me, I would like to see UCLA make a run, because they're a fun team. They're going to gather a great atmosphere, a great crowd. So
you're not the only one. ESPN or whatever CBS who owns it, they want more so than anything UCLA to be in the final.
I mean, how long has it been since UCLA have
been? 1995 was the last time they won a championship. But don't forget, like, the funny thing about UCLA is, like, no one really feels that UCLA needs any more championships, because they won an entire. Was it the 60s or the 70s, Dan, that they won the entire decade? It was like 71 to 80. They won every championship.
That's old news.
Old news. Old news. That's when the NIT was the bigger tournament, the National Invitation Tournament.
Old news is cousins with fake news.
Old news is cousins with fake news.
That's it.
First cousins,
They
second
talk
cousins, third cousins. Twice
Right,
removed. How much pressure is on Lonzo Ball to carry UCLA? How far will Lonzo Ball carry UCLA? And who are you rooting for in March Madness tournament? I can't get enough of this, man. I really can't. I think it technically starts today, tomorrow, because of the play-in games, but Thursday, it's like 9:50 a.m.
First game on Thursday.
And then like every 20 minutes.
Yeah, those games non-stop.
It's every 20 minutes. There's just a game, and then a game, and then a game, and then like 3 more games, and then 7 more games, and That's it. 74 million estimated brackets filled out according to the Gaming Association. $10.4 billion of gambling on the NCAA tournament this year.
But it's illegal.
10.4 billion.
But you don't have bookies on each corner for whatever reason.
Yeah, that's weird. It's very weird.